what I really want the legacy of Walmart to be in the future. I'd like to believe that as Walmart continues to thrive and grow, it can come to live up to what someone once called us, the lighthouse of the Ozarks.
This is a story of a place. In 1950, Sam Walton came to Bentonville in part because his wife Helen loved the outdoors and she wanted to be in a small town, and because he loved quail hunting. And when he got here, the hills were surrounding the area and he got tired of driving on those roads to get to all of his stores. So he ended up getting his pilot's license, which was a big deal because he started seeing retail from the air.
From up in the air, we could check out traffic flows, seeing which way cities and towns were growing, and evaluate the location of the competition.
He was able to look out and say, okay, this is where the future of American retail is. But putting Walmart stores out in really small towns in the American South meant that people had to drive long distances to get to those towns. And the only way that works is if the federal government builds highway systems in the 1950s at a big cost, $25 billion, that could bring people into those small towns to shop at Walmart. So Sam Walton would later say, government, get off my back, let's stay out of our affairs. But the truth is, you can't build Walmart without the federal government. By the 1980s, Walmart was well on its way to becoming the biggest corporation in the world. Sam Walton loved Bentonville and the outdoors so much that in 1981, he made all of the shareholders and investors and Wall Street analysts go on a canoe trip with him down Sugar Creek as part of this shareholders meeting on a river.
I grew up here, and for the last, 10 plus years of my life as a journalist and now as a historian, I've been thinking about how Walmart and corporate capitalism has really shaped this landscape in this place that I am from and that I plan to come back to. Downtown Bentonville is a tourist dream of what a small town might look like. Have an ice cream cone from Walmart's Spark Cafe. Go shop at the original Walton's Five and Dime. Take a picture in front of Sam Walton's red F-150.
The current generation of Waltons fell in love with mountain biking, and they designed a kind of wonderland here in the Ozarks to do just that.
This is the $1 billion art museum that Alice Walton built, her Walmart fortune. It's got a really lovely collection of American art. It's free, it's beautiful. On the East Coast and in cities like New York and DC, you have places like the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Smithsonian's that are largely publicly funded. We don't really have that. We have very little public funding in Arkansas for art like this. And so if you have it here, it's coming from the Waltons. So then you have to ask, how is that wealth created?
No two ways about it. I'm cheap. We exist to provide value to our customers, which means that in addition to quality and service, we have to save them money. Every time Walmart spends $1 foolishly, it comes right out of our customers' pockets. Every time we save them $1, that puts us one more step ahead of the competition.
Yeah, these prices are cheap. Just don't ask why.
This idea of cheap as a virtue is what this place, this company, this town is built on, but you see what's around us. This is not cheap.
What does cheapness look like historically? It means, this was a company that in their 1960s paid workers less than the federal minimum wage, and, Sam Walton was ultimately forced to pay back pay to workers because he violated the law. Cheapness in the 1990s looked like a company that, when shown footage of children working in Bangladesh, the response of the CEO was, well, you and I have a different opinion of what children are.
Children, you and I might perhaps define children differently.
Looks like in the early 2000s, when a memo was leaked that showed that something like 45% of children of Walmart employees were on either Medicaid or some kind of public health benefit program. Now, this doesn't work unless you have public aid in a way. Going into places that have lax environmental regulations and having enormous greenhouse gas emissions because of the vast distances these goods have to travel from distant markets with cheap labor markets like China and other places to get to these small towns. So cheapness has a cost, we just don't often see it, and we certainly don't see it here.
I think you have wealth and you have power in any town and in any small town, but here it really stands out because, you know, we're in a really small and historically pretty poor region of the country, and the world's wealthiest family is also here and is shaping the landscape. This place to me now feels like it is so under the thumb of the corporations and the families who have profited off of them, and they really run the show around here. They build the landscapes, they build the towns.
I think people think, when they think of the American economy, that like big innovation has come out of the big cities, maybe Silicon Valley, big places. But what you see in the story of Walmart is the story of tiny towns changing our entire economy. As Sam Walton would put it, you know, when he was trying to figure out how to get goods to these smaller towns in the American South and the Midwest, he had to figure out a new way to develop satellite systems and computerized systems that could handle that long distance transport of goods into really remote places. And that led to what you might call our Amazon economy. So much so that when Jeff Bezos started Amazon in the 1990s, he came right here. He came to Bentonville. He read Sam Walton's biography, and he even hired much of his staff to develop his distribution system from Bentonville. And I think all of us are connected to the Amazon economy, and it wouldn't have happened had it not been for Walmart. And I think there are people here in Bentonville, where it all started, who are thinking about this.
There's often one story told about this region, and that story is the story of the companies that are here because they have power and because they have money and because they employ so many folks here, really get to control the narrative of this region. And it's important to me that the other side of the story gets told.